right. We had a little reordering of presentation. So we're going to conclude with our resource presentation on the Family Connects program, given by Laura Johnson, who is the Director of Clinical and Community Engagement with Illuminate Colorado. There. All right. Let me make sure I get back to your slides. Let me just, this might be faster. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me okay? Great. I am highly aware that I am standing between you and your commute home, so I promise I will make this so quick and will not take up too much of your time, but thanks for the opportunity. Family Connects Colorado is a universal, evidence-based nurse home visitation program that is delivered during the postpartum period. It was initially born out of Duke, North Carolina. At the time, in the early 2000s, Durham had the highest rates of child abuse in the country. And so Family Connects was part of the solution to try and figure out how to reduce those child abuse rates. Family Connects is typically delivered at 3 weeks postpartum. So a nurse goes into the home, does a full whole person assessment on mom and infant together. That includes vital signs, physical assessment, all of the SDOH, connecting to community resources, and is free at no cost to the family. This is an ideal time, obviously, because moms do not go back to the OB until that 6-week postpartum visit. So the intent and the purpose of Family Connects was to really fill that delivery to 6-week postpartum gap. This also fills the gap for the infant, right? Infants are typically seen at that 2-day, 2-week, and then not returning again until 2 months. Some pediatricians will do a 1-month visit, but many do not. So this fills actually both a gap for both the infant and the birthing parent. So a little bit about the integrated home visit. This is meant to be a short-term intervention. Families can have 1 to 3 postpartum visits from a nurse in their home. Most families typically have 1 visit. During that visit, we kind of talked about that whole person assessment, connecting to community resources, identifying what the families have, and assessing other long-term programs that a family may need. So it's kind of like that triage assessment of what do you need, what can we connect you to, and is not meant to be long-term, but really just that short-term program. Here's some of the things that the nurses go through during the integrated home visit. You can see, again, very comprehensive. Substance use is one of the things that they are screening for. And just to keep us going, I'm going to skip through some of these slides here. And I'm going to keep going. Okay. This model is evidence-based. I'm sure you can get the slides afterwards. In this slide deck, there's several resources around the randomized control trials showing the impact of Family Connects that you can see and dig into further. Really a big piece of Family Connects is community alignment, right? It's not just assessing and identifying what families need, but it's also connecting them back into their communities to connect them to resources and help them be able to identify what they need, get connected to what they need, and then following up to make sure that families were well connected with the resources provided. And I'm going to keep going through all of this. You can look at all of these things later. I'm just going to talk a little bit about Colorado implementation. So currently in Colorado, Family Connects is in Eagle County, Boulder County, Jefferson County, Denver County, and Arapahoe is our newest county, along with Broomfield, who came on as a joint site with Boulder County Public Health. Expansion sites include Mesa in January of 2026. You can see this map of kind of where we're going across the state here. and I promised I would be quick, so I'm gonna keep going. Colorado data. So in the randomized control trials, we talk about this program being universal. Universal means that every family needs something. The randomized control trials out of Duke showed that 94% of families needed either nurse education or connection to a community resource. When we looked at our 2024 data for Family Connects, 94% of families over all races, ethnicities, socioeconomic, insurance types, all families, 94% needed either a referral or nurse education during that home visit. We know that having a baby is a really challenging time period. And so Family Connects is definitely something that can support. Briefly, 58% of families identified a need around caregiver or maternal health, and 43% of families identified having a need for infant crying. 29% identified a need for support with like household safety materials. So some sort of like resource support. And then you can kind of see as the list goes down. The nurses in these home visits are catching things that are not caught in the doctor's offices, right? By sitting down with families, taking the time to really listen for 2 to 3 hours with the family, you're digging in deep and really understanding what a family is needing. And so they are uncovering things that sometimes providers are missing just because they are spending so much time with the families. So I'm going to leave it at that and get you all out of here and on your way home. So maybe you can miss a little bit of traffic on 225. There's many more slides in here that you can take a look at later, but thank you for your time.
Yeah.